Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Friday Night Live. This is episode 17. Joining me is a special guest. Well, not special, but he's been on a few times, but he's special to me. Hey, TenthSigma, how are you doing?
What's going on, man? Happy to be here, dude.
I'm fastcart, also known as FC, by the way. So how has your week been?
You know what? There's a lot of stuff going on this week.
Yeah, they had the video game show award. Did you watch that?
I did not catch it, though. I heard bits and pieces. I heard, what was the big thing? Last of Us 2 took Game of the Year or something like this. And
Last of Us 2 took everything but one award, and people are like raging mad about that.
Yeah, see, I mean, that's not my genre, so, but I have friends who play, and they love it, but I think that they had their reservations, right? You know, so.
Well, one thing I was watching for was all the new trailers and exclusive premieres that they did. So I saw the Fast and the Jurassic, which was also known as Art 2 because it had Vin Diesel in it.
Oh, man.
Fast and Jurassic is what I call it.
What is going on, dude? How long has that series just... All right. What are we talking about? Like a decade now? More? Plus?
I want to say more than a decade. I'm not sure, but yeah, I haven't played it.
Yeah.
But that takes us into our first topic. You want to talk about the big news, Cyberpunk 2077 coming out?
Absolutely.
Have you played it? You got it?
I got it. I played it. I'm probably, just a couple hours in. It dropped Wednesday afternoon over here for me in the West Coast, and I think it was pretty good. It's pretty good. But I think we have something we want to.
Let's start them.
Test of a person's true value. Death. Facing, staring it down.
Johnny,
I got you.
The fidelity, man.
Crazy.
Pressure's tanking.
it's neurogenic shock. He's dying.
This was RTX on or off?
I imagine with this going there.
My head.
So what now?
Now,
I mean, the
you
city
find out
is
what it
very
is
immersive.
you need to do.
A thing of beauty, I know.
Two buzzwords in there just now.
Anything
I was being ironic. You were being serious.
when you maybe should have. You go through Night City knowing a stray bullet could end you while hailing a cab. But
Characters do
that's
look good,
never
though.
stopped you
I'm
from
going.
taking
Oh, I'll talk about
action.
it.
You believe you cheated death. It is death that has cheated you.
If you gotta kill, kill. If you gotta burn it all to the ground, then let it burn.
Gentlemen, on the ground, asshole, don't move.
Out of my house! No!
Will never fade away. What you did to me, I know. So how I find a way, but I think of beauty.
Would you rather live in peace as Mr. Nobody or go down for all times in a blaze of glory?
Will never fade away.
Sorry about not warning people about spoilers or anything, but it's just that when these trailers come out, I don't remember the trailer by the time I'm playing the game, so it doesn't spoil me.
You're absolutely right. I when I watch the trailers, usually they're moving so fast. Like I'm thinking, you might recall maybe one or two things,
Yeah, that's about it.
But that's it. Not enough to ruin the story.
And it's like way after it happened in the game, so it's like
right.
And for this trailer specifically, I know it's a launch trailer. I should have put it in Twitch chat. I'll do it later, but. For this launch trailer, what the person was saying, I had to turn on closed caption to understand what I don't
It
know if
was
you can
kind of
hear it.
low at one point, right? Like I mean, it was cool. I think the coolest thing about the trailer FC really was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing. I really dig it. And then if you kind of think about like the soundtrack and they had those Night City Wire episodes before, like kind of dropping stuff, and similar to our like SC Lives or ISCs, right? And it was really cool how they developed the soundtrack with the actual bands and trying to pull it in. But I think it's one of the things that developers are doing for these really great titles is giving you an inside look, because the game was in development for what, 8 years or something like this.
2012, same as Star Citizen.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
And
So,
and I've been hearing that they launched with bugs, and people are not having some people are not having a great experience on the PC or console.
Well, I think in the console is the last gen, so the last gen players are having a really. They dropped the hotfix today, but
I heard it was 12 gigs or something.
Something like that. Yeah.
I haven't bought it. I'm going to wait until, well, for one thing, I can barely play Star Citizen on my current PC. I'm going to wait till, it comes down in price and get my new PC built. For Black Friday, one of the things I ordered was a couple of hard drives.
Nice.
I'm going to, I just have to get the 5900X, and it's,
there you go.
And I'm just waiting for them to come in stock, and then I'll be good.
Good to go, man. Yeah, upgrade your rig.
And then I'll worry about maybe I'll get Cyberpunk 2077 when it's $40 or something.
When it goes on sale. I mean, it's a great title. It's getting good reviews, but people's experiences are just not as pristine. I read somewhere, kind of similar to what you were saying, Fastcart. I read somewhere like on Reddit that someone said that a lot of people were mad that the game was released in the current state. And so one of the Redditors posted that, hey, if you think the game needs another year of development, why not just not buy it now? Give it a year of development.
That's what I'm doing.
Patches. Exactly.
All right, I don't know if I'll give it a year, but I'll give them $40 for it. But the thing is, the way I've been watching people play it on Twitch, I'm going to have to play it on story mode, easy mode, in order to get through that thing, because it's really action based and skill based. So this is gonna be because I played Mass Effect, and I played Mass Effect on normal, but I can't go higher than normal.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna play it on story or easy. All right. So next up, we're going to talk about another big thing is the Odyssey. Elite Dangerous dropped a new trailer. Let's see what that's about. I do have to say, this doesn't look too bad.
Ground control to Major Tom.
This song, though, reminds me of a Machinima someone made with the song. Star Citizen.
Take your protein pills and put your helmet on. This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door, and I'm floating in the most peculiar way, and the stars look very different today. For here am I sitting in a tin can.
Hey. So FC, did you so I'm not new to Elite, but I played it in the early, like the first 6 months release, and then dropped it and haven't touched it since. So
Yeah, we talked.
this is
Yeah,
a
we
big
talked
deal.
about this. We talked about this a few shows back. It's like I haven't touched Elite because when Elite and Star Citizen, they both came out almost the same time, right?
Yeah.
So I've already
Yeah.
put I've already put a bunch of money into Star Citizen. I saw that Elite would require another $60, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna deal with it. And then I don't want to have to deal with switching between Star Citizen and Elite
Right.
Dangerous with the
Right.
different control scheme. So I just haven't but as far as the trailer goes, it looks nice. I see a lot of Star Citizen in it, or I see some, how you put it politely, I see some, I can't think of the word, you know what I'm talking about? There are some encouragement or like
Similarities.
similarities, thank you, and stuff like that from Star Citizen. But I mean, it's really hard to say that they stole anything from Star Citizen. I mean, a lot of it can be like, you know, coming from it, like how, like when you make an armor for a desert, or you make armor for a snow planet. I mean, there are going to be similarities in those armors.
Yeah.
And
that's the thing. Like, if you think about it, you have Elite Dangerous and you have Star Citizen, and certainly we don't compare the two, but they're both a part of the same genre. So a lot of the motifs that show up in design or the themes that are around, they're gonna, you're gonna have those similarities. I think that what the experiences are just two different things. And so when I was playing in the first, like during when it first launched, it was a great reprieve from SC, when you can only walk around your hangar, that you can actually fly a spaceship in Elite Dangerous and like do cargo runs or whatever.
This was before Arena Commander?
This was during, but it was still kind of, when I started, it was Arena Commander was up, but it was buggy. And so I would, drop it to go do some missions. And now that they've grown up a little bit, you have you see some of these same things, and it's pretty cool, but I know this is a big deal for diehard, ED fans who have been wanting to get out of their ships and hit the lane.
And one thing I have to say is that EVE Online still don't have walking station. They have walking cabins.
But dude, FC. So, do you remember when EVE had captain's quarters?
They still do, as far as I know. Yeah, I remember when it first came out.
I mean, like, I thought that was so cool, and then I think I started playing EVE, and came back to EVE earlier this year, and it wasn't there anymore. I'm like, what the heck has happened?
Oh, they took it out?
I didn't see it. I couldn't get to it. So,
I remember when it first came out, it was just a resource hog, and it was like it killed people's PC because it was like I don't know how many frames per second, 10 frames per second. So it killed my PC, the captain's quarter.
Yeah. But I dig it. I dig this this Odyssey, and they've written about like the missions that you would do. You might go to a deserted base somewhere, or what we would call homesteads in SC parlance, and you have to kind of bring the homestead online because it's been taken offline by pirates, and then you find out the pirates are still in the area. They come back and get into fights that way, et cetera, et cetera. So it's pretty. I dig it, but it's thematic. You kind of see these things amongst space games. So we'll see. Yet to be determined, right?
So it said arriving early 2021. Do you think it'll be on time or?
No clue. Does ED have a track record of delivering patches like on time?
Yeah, let us know. Does ED have a good track record when coming out with stuff on time? I know EVE Online pretty much does. They come out with quarterly or
right.
Bi-yearly.
Jade says nope.
Oh, okay. They changed from first quarter to April. Yeah, okay, already.
We'll see.
So someone mentioned in chat another space game, Mass Effect. They had a trailer drop yesterday, and it featured I think a famous character. I'm not going to spoil it for people, but look up that trailer. So if you're looking for another space game, science fiction game, that one is on the horizon. It's supposed to be like the remastering of the first three games. I'm not sure if it's a whole new game.
I didn't know that. That's cool. Yeah, I didn't play Mass Effect. Yep, but Mass Effect I heard it was great.
I liked it. Like I said, I could only play it on normal, but yeah. So, Ivacati has been busy. 312 and been playing around. I haven't. Well, that's not true. I was gonna say something inaccurate. I haven't seen the 400 series, but I have seen something. I don't know if it's the one that's in this end game. How about you?
See.
It's on screen right now.
Yeah, let me just say, FC, you don't have to see it to believe it. You know what I mean? It's there. It's beautiful, right? And we'll see.
I forget.
We'll see it. I mean, like, you know, for me, if anybody's asking me, which I think I heard maybe somebody in chat said, "Hey, Tenth, what do you think about the origin ship?" Oh, wait, I'm glad you asked because I thought that would never happen. Right? I thought it would never happen, that we would never see a 400. And we have, you know, because you have the 3 and the 6, and then FC, give me a little bit more energy, man. Come on, let's jump in here, man. Let's do this origin.
Go ahead.
No, but no, it's yet to be determined. I know that there's been a lot of fun made about it looking like a toothbrush.
A what?
A toothbrush. If you look at the nose of the ship, you know, like you kind of flip it upside down, you can kind of see that. But I'm interested to see how the development goes.
I first saw this last week, the one in the upper right. Mm-hmm. And the first thing that came to my mind, it looked like a Miss Razor married a 600 series. Like it looked like a 600 in the back and a Miss Razor in the front.
I totally agree, and it's just larger, right? Like, so I don't know. It's supposed to be competing with the Constellation line, you know, and that kind of deal. But we'll see, man. I'm excited for it.
If it's big as the Constellation, or competing with the Constellation, I don't understand. Like, okay, I see the cockpit in the middle, but what's that thing? What's that? The nose supposed to be? What is the purpose?
I think it's a design choice, right? Because if you think about the 890, that it has to have that nose because it's a hangar down there, right? So
but this doesn't.
It does. I don't know. I'm not too jazzed about like what the nose would do, but I think it's more of an aesthetic to give the feel of like yacht life, right? Like this would be like your catamaran versus a full size yacht. I don't know. It might not be the final version, but I'm not particularly jazzed about the front, but I am jazzed that there is something to compete in the line with them. Yeah, so like FC, if you're taking what you see on the screen, what price point do you think this thing would debut at?
Between 250 and 300. I don't want to say it's going to be 350 because that's the Constellation Phoenix. I'm not sure. I don't know if this is going to be the only variant, but I say 250 and 300. How about you?
I have to go with the 300, 350 price point. I think that if it's going to compete with the Constellation Phoenix, and the Constellation Phoenix being that luxury end of RSI, that Origin is going to have to put it up around plus 300.
I mean, we both may be wrong because they may give it the luxury tax and make it 400.
Right. Yeah. Like I don't know. But, like it's we'll see. We have to figure out what are the armaments like. You know, what's the shields like? What's coming in stock with it?
How much is the 600? The cheapest one is what? 400?
435. I think.
435.
Maybe get a price check real quick on the 600.
Yeah, I was gonna look it up, but yeah, people can beat me to it. Yeah, how much is the 600? Yeah, I want to say so it's definitely cheap. So 400 is probably too high.
Yeah.
Maybe so.
Yeah.
You're, so 300 to 350. You're probably right. It might be 250, but 300 to 350
I don't know.
sounds about right.
But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think it needs a little bit of love. If I had to pick out of the pictures that I see on the screen right now, I am least excited about. I mean, I know the 600s are on the left, but out of the 400 variants, I am least excited about the bottom right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, I know I haven't been on for a while, so I just gotta say this: the 600 series meet the 400 series, and the 600 series say, "Why the long face?"
What? FC, are you making fun of Origin again?
I'm just making fun of this long nose that it has. It doesn't look like it serves a purpose whatsoever. I'm like, I mean, I'm not even sure people can go through that. And even if they could, what's the point? What is in there? So.
See, here's the deal. Like, if the 400 goes like this, you have the 400, and you have the 850, the 890, looking the same, right? And so, what do you do about the 600? Who's kind of how do you the design aesthetic doesn't fit? So you got some choices to make here since you're adding this piece in, but it seems as though this may be the design route for Origin. I don't know. It'll yet to be determined, right? But we'll have to see.
I still say it looks like the Miss Razor from the front, so I don't know.
I'd have to agree. I would agree with you.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with you. I think that some of the design choice has been borrowed, and it hasn't, especially with the way that they made that ship look. It definitely could be seen as like a mashup, you know. But I don't know. I don't know how long off we are from seeing that, but it was certainly good to hear that there's another ship coming out. So,
well, I know you're getting one. I know Griffin is getting one.
I'll always be in line.
I'll just fly on yours when you get it, because I'm definitely not getting one, especially for like 250 or plus. So I like. Okay, I haven't seen the inside of it yet, so I shouldn't say that. But from the outside, I'm not interested. But the broken away from the inside, I still like the Phoenix from the wood panels and everything like that.
Yeah.
And don't forget, and everybody, if you want to come in to talk, tell us what you think about the 600, the 400 series, and what you think of the Odyssey trailer and the Cyberpunk trailer. Come on in, join us in Discord.
Yeah. Jump on in.
You don't bite much. You want to talk? You ready for ISC?
Yeah. So inside Star Citizen this week.
Chris was talking with Paul and was like, let's just go full bird with this.
A lot of people's favourite things about the ships is, when you're in combat, this ship's a light fighter, you should be getting in there and blowing stuff up. But for me, when you walk out on your landing pad and you see this ship, you want that to be an experience for the player.
And that's why we pursued it. The Talon and Talon Shrike are a pair of fighters by Isperia. They're light fighters, so they prize agility over raw firepower and durability. The difference between the two is the Talon doesn't have great missiles, but has great guns. The Talon Shrike has great missiles, but not great guns. So you have your two choices there, depending on how you want to play.
The Talon itself is a very elegant design. I remember talking to Paul at the very start. The concept can look super lightweight, but whether or not we can deliver that, so many of our ships, once we get them, have that issue of, we didn't take into account that it needs a size 2 power plant, or it needs 3 size 1 shield generators, or whatever it might be. With the Talon, we didn't get any extra weight added onto it, and it was as sleek and as elegant as what we wanted. It feels fast when you see it. Like, it doesn't have to be moving, but it just looks fast, it looks agile. I love the animation on the ship. when it's in landed mode, the wings kind of fold in and the shoulders kind of hunch back, and you get these underlying feathers that open and close depending on which flight mode you're in. I really like the landing gear, as strange as that sounds. I think it's got that hawk foot look to it. I think the way the player enters the ship and the chair comes right out towards you, and the whole thing opens up, getting the dashboard to animate out the way. There's a few things that I really like about the interior of the dash. You've got this framework that runs all around the ship, so that when you're sat in that pilot seat, you feel like surrounded by this nest. I love when it opens up and you see out for the first time, you power the ship on. It took some iteration to get it right, but I do like it. Just the overall stance of the ship when it's in flight is a really nice feature of the Tavarian ships.
For release, we knew we wouldn't have the full ejection pod mechanic, so we worked around this by adjusting the ejection seat parameters to support ejecting in any direction we wanted. So for the Talon at launch, it will have ejection capabilities more than other ships, so you will still be able to simulate that sort of last-ditch forward eject, want to do one final strike with my FPS weapons or melee or board onto a ship via it. But you don't remain in the ejection pod. It comes with you for a point and then it carries on to get out of your way. The Talon introduces a new technology to Star Citizen, which is the iridescent shader. From the very start of the concept, we wanted to really push the visuals of the ship, and our existing shaders really just didn't give that sort of bird, avian, like iridescent shimmer to the shaders. So
we weren't sure if we were going to get it. We reached out to the graphics team, and they said it was something that they can push towards doing, and they came in and they delivered it. I had some concerns over it would work for what we wanted for that initial paint job, but obviously we want to be able to support a lot more variation. But luckily, once Rob,
they had concerns. Never hear that.
Works, and it opens up a lot of possibilities for future ships and other assets in the game.
It was really important for us to develop the Talon and the Talon Shrike, because it not only increases the amount of ships that the Tavarian race has in the game, but it also gives players more choice than the light fighter group of ships. Not only that they actually provide a very visual difference, which for a lot of people is a huge thing.
The Talon and Talon Shrike are scheduled to make their flight-ready debut in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. Building on the popular light fighter experiences of the Gladius and Arrow, with an added avian style and colorful flair. But before we let you go this week,
all right, so Dark Knight just said, I'm not buying it, but it looks so beautiful. I agree 100%. Not buying this thing. I'm not a fighter. But this thing looks amazing.
They're light fighters, so they prize
SFC. And it looks great. Like, I mean, I think what they said in the beginning, Chris wanted to go full on bird with this, and they delivered. I mean, this thing is insane, And,
so are you saying they flew the coop?
FC. Yes. Okay.
Don't make me laugh at my own joke. Come on, man. No, I like the way it not transform, but the wings spread out and fold in and stuff like that. I like the mechanics of it, and it does look cool. I'm not gonna pay cash to get one or side credit to get one. I may get one in game. Who knows? Depending on I'll be rolling in money. Hopefully, when I get in game, I may get one in game. But as far as getting one now, I'm not gonna get either one. But it does look cool.
If you had to, if you did have enough credits like in game, which one would you go for? Would you go for the beefier missile one? I think it's the Shrike, or would you go with the gun, the beefier gun one, which is the regular Talon?
I'm normally a gun person, a missile bolt person, but for this one, I may go gun. I'm not sure.
I was kind of thinking about that.
Why'd I get both?
True. Why not both?
How about you?
I don't know. I think I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if I would. I think I would want to go for the guns, the beefier guns, because I mean that's where I would typically lean if I had to do any fighting. But who knows? I mean, maybe the missiles are too, whatever missiles that they decide to put on it or whatever it has stock, maybe it's just too good to pass up. So you might do both. Who knows? But I think the real crazy thing about this ship is imagine seeing a fleet of these things. Like, I mean, it's just like racing down at you or coming at you hardcore. Like, you'd be in some trouble.
One of the things I do like about this is the interior, the way the inside the cockpit, like I showed the view screen. The only thing that worried me about that is that if it takes a hit, how much damage? Like if it's damaged, you won't be able to see anything. So you'll be blind once if you get hit or whatever.
Yeah. And I think what's playing on the screen is, it might inform some people's buying as well, not only with how the talent takes a hit and what happens to your view, but how you also begin to appear to the enemy with this iridescent shader technology. Right, looks very cool. I think it works for the Talon, but I wonder how applicable it could be for all my fighters out there, right, who are stealth fighters, perhaps. You don't really want.
I understand what you're saying, but I don't see them applying this to many other ships. This seems to be like specific for mostly.
Maybe alien.
I may be wrong.
But here's the thing: like what he said in the video was that it opens up some options for a variety of ships. Now I just started thinking, like, where would you see this again?
Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know what other ships you put this on.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm like. I mean, I could definitely see it on, like, if it gave an option for, we were just looking at it with the Prowler, but even then, I don't know, man. I'll have to go and really think about if that would be a use case.
I would like to see them make skins that you can apply to other ships. Doing it that way. I can see them doing it that way, but other than that.
Yep.
Don't forget, guys. You guys can come in, talk about this week ISC or STO, come in, or talk about Cyberpunk, whatever you want.
Whatever.
So, I didn't mean like that, but
whatever. Come in. We're talking about whatever.
Avian style and colorful.
We're talking about
let's continue on
this week. Let's go ahead and see if we can squeeze in one more sprint report before the holidays arrive. Let's get to it. We have a few updates in the world of FPS weapons, starting with this look at the new
FS9
light machine gun coming to the Persistent universe in the upcoming Alpha 3.12. While the VFX artists are still tweaking and things may look a little different by the time you see this one live, one of the directions the team is pushing for is a smaller but more realistic muzzle flash that's good for a spray and play player like myself. After all, if I'm lucky enough to hit anything when I shoot, it's nice when I can actually see it happen through the flash. At the other end of the spectrum is the Gemini AO3 sniper rifle that is about as marksman as you can get. Now the AO3 is perhaps the smallest caliber rifle offered in Alpha 3.12, and feedback during review was that while it is intended to be small, we may still want to upscale the effect all the same. Like most things in game development, there's a delicate balancing act of adjustments and fine-tuning before we find something that seems just right. Now, looking at something a bit farther out, the weapons concept team recently completed a pass on the Shroud of the Avatar crossbow from manufacturer Ultaflex. Now this low IR, low EM stealth weapon has a very slick carbon fiber.
Oh, I forgot about this.
You can see how the cartridges load from underneath. Now these cartridges carry the smart ammo arrows that will expand to full length once they're pulled up and chambered above. Now, it remains to be seen what kind of physical damage and visual effect this will have on FPS gameplay, but you can bet that we're going to check in on this very unique weapon again before it makes its way into the Persistent universe. Let's talk ships. First up, we've got a look at perennial testbed the Aegis Gladius, now getting its component pass, where they add things like the coolers and the jump drives and whatnot. It's important items that not only have to be accessible for players in the persistent universe, but also completely usable by the AI deck crews within Squadron 42. We also have a real quick look at fan favorite the Aegis Redeemer, as it continues early progress through White Box phase. Now, using a modular system similar to the Vanguard series, we can already see things like the living areas and remote turret stations starting to come into their own. But the biggest ship news, perhaps, is that we've got a very work-in-progress look at the SDF shield tech currently in development. What you're seeing here is a test mock-up with temporary damage values and intermediate colors used for demonstration purposes only. Now, shields on larger ships are intended to be fairly powerful, so there was a concern during development about how players would actually know they were doing any damage at all. This led to an idea seen here, where we're testing an easily readable wear effect the attacking players could be causing to the shields across these larger ships. The Javelin used here for demonstration purposes, just because it's really big. It's important to state once more that everything you're seeing here is work in progress and done for testing purposes. The colors and the damage modifiers and the time to trigger the changing effects will all be tuned in further passes. I mean, look at this pistol. That's not a normal pistol. Give me that pistol. Alternate tests also include using different patterns for distributing the damage effect across these new SDF shields, like this hexagon pattern, which always just looks really sci-fi and futuristic. As for which patterns, which colors, and which tunings will be used when SDF shields come online, well, we're all just going to have to wait and see. In environment news, the team is finishing up a series of daily passes updating many of the aspects found across Stanton's planets and moons ahead of the upcoming Alpha 3.12. Now, these polishes are part of an ongoing effort that started earlier this year to bring these existing areas in line with new technologies as they've been developed. Things like the new organics shader, the height map improvements, updated ground textures using scanned elements, a newly robust geology library, and more.
Man, Star Citizen stealing ideas from Elite Dangerous. Ain't that something?
Would you believe that?
The Planet team has been working on developing ocean buoyancy on a per-entity basis and generating the rule sets for creating procedurally placed items, derelicts, and more out across the ocean's surface. Now, there are a number of exciting possibilities here, including advanced traversal for the recovery of resources or mission items, submerged exploration, and more. Now, obviously, the shader work you're seeing here is very work in progress, as this is a test of tech and not visuals, but it is an exciting look at the ongoing explorations, exploring what's possible. Also, here's Henry on a duck, going up and down. Sometimes you gotta take the bad with the good.
What the?
Yeah, that's hearing
We've
on
also
a duck.
got this look at the current progress of touch bending.
Let him live his life.
To provide a more realistic experience when traveling through areas like the Hurston Savannah. Now, the team has made some good progress since we last showed their efforts, but some of the ways they still want to improve on what you're seeing here is to get a bend that's not quite the complete crumple demonstrated here, while also getting a much slower return to upright so that it's then possible to visually track players or creatures through the tall grass. Beyond these challenges, the team also needs to develop an effective way to apply the various level of detail versions necessary for a massively multiplayer game of our scale. It's one thing to get this looking good up close, but it still has to work for those far away, and the team is looking forward to tackling that challenge in the new year. Finally, if you've been watching ISC Weekly, you've seen that we've been following along.
Someone start singing the Sound of Music for me.
Colonial homesteads intended to be found throughout the persistent universe. And in our last sprint report of the year, let's go ahead and take a look at just one of the earliest internal white box layouts for a communal module. Now, is this a bar, a hab, a kitchen, an activities hall? We don't know yet. That's part of the fun of game development. Because these homesteads are meant for the far-reaching frontier areas of something like Pyro, the team is exploring things like storm shutters to protect from the elements outside, as well as vertical traversal options to allow players to get wherever they need to go for a variety of gameplay opportunities. Overall, these homesteads are still in an exploration phase and haven't fully entered production just yet. But homesteads like these are just chock full of potential.
Well, Uncle Ben, I want to go to the taxi station.
Star Citizen experience.
Hope there's blue milk on tap.
So what did we learn this week? They're pulled up and chambered above. Now, hold of FPS weapons started.
So, Scuba Steve, thanks for joining us. You there?
Hey.
I didn't hear him. So what do you think of the well, let me just start. One thing, Jared, I want that pistol. Give me the pistol, Jared. Give me the pistol. You know you want to. Give me the pistol. But no. Are you looking forward to landing an 890 jump on the ocean?
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are parties to be had on the ocean. Obviously, we can put a duck in the game. I want that duck on the yacht ASAP, along with the pistol. I see. And then we'll do all that work, and it'll be a great time. But I don't know. I guess the question for me is, what did you think about the new sniper and the new assault weapon?
I'm normally a sniper. Well, I can't say normally. When I play Mass Effect, I normally go for the sniper class. So I prefer those to shoot. I prefer to shoot one quality bullet rather than a lot of small bullets. That's my gameplay, but I don't know if I'll be able to apply that into Star Citizen because it's multiplayer. It's not like a single player game, so it'll be trickier to do that. And normally I do play sniper rifle, and I mean, I'm still gonna try it. Hopefully I'll be able to do something with it, but we'll see. As far as the assault rifle, that's never been my thing. Mostly the sniper rifle. How about you?
I don't know how I feel about that sniper rifle with the lower caliber, but I think for me, all I need is something in the verse that'll get me out of a situation. Right.
I mean, how much caliber do you need? What are you compensating for?
Look, I got a whole fleet of Origin ships. It's a flex. It's a flex on the entire universe.
So you're gonna get an orange sniper rifle then?
Hey, if it's coming out, I'm buying it. I already told you. FC.
No, you'll just be hefting around the side one from one of your Origin ships.
That's what I would take it off the 100. No, I would just walk around with it. What did you think about the crossbow?
The crossbow. Yeah, I forgot all about that. That was like 2014, 2013.
Yeah, it looks sick, didn't it?
When I was first talked about, so I'm not getting one. I didn't do the whatever requirement you needed to get it. How about you?
What was it? What was the requirement?
I think it was you needed to have access to the other game that the started the Avatar. Yeah, you had to buy that in order to get the crossbow. So I didn't get it, but it looked cool. It reminded me of it's the closest thing to being a Wookiee in Star Citizen, a crossbow gun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool.
How about you? Oh, Scuba, what do you think? I see you lighting up, but I don't hear you. Try again? Still don't hear you. I see you lighting up. All right, well, come back. Hopefully you can get that situated. But what do you think of the crossbow?
For me, the crossbow, while Scuba gets sorted out, the crossbow looks dope. If
How
I
about
could,
now?
there we go.
There you go.
There we go. I'm live on the most MLG Pro Talk Show on the Twitch.
So tell us what you think of the crossbow, the sniper rifle, or anything else you want to talk about.
I like this is the whatever channel, and that's why I'm here. But no, I like the sniper rifle, but I'm with you, man. Like I really do like the sniper rifle where you can kind of get the satisfaction of taking one shot and doing a ton of damage. And
Right.
so the low caliber kind of takes away from that a little bit, but the stealth aspect is also interesting.
So you're a sniper guy, so do you see these as one shot, one kill type deals? Like if you place it right, like chest and up?
Boom, headshot.
Easy.
Not with the one that they featured in ISC, but like other weapons, yeah. But the other aspect was sniping in Star Citizen is like, the how far away you can be, which I know they made improvements to it. I haven't tried it since they made those improvements.
I mean, yeah, if you have to be point blank range and make a headshot in order to kill someone, you're doing it wrong, right?
Yeah, you may as well just get a grenade launcher and go for it like that.
Test your luck, right? Oh man, Scuba Steve. Hey, look, you have to tell us about what you think of the water tech and floating, and also should we have a giant duck in the game that we could use?
Well, I'm glad you asked, and I really think the game needs a giant duck, and I am personally advocating for Chris Roberts to implement that in the next edition. It's an absolute must.
Scuba Steve, you know what? You cracked me up.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I haven't seen
FC.
fastcart in a while since first cut, and I've missed this humor. It truly brings light to my day. People don't need to know that.
Our producer said you're the only one. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, what did you think of the 400 series?
Yeah.
I like the origin of the 400 series.
Go on.
I know. Come on.
Go on.
Yeah. I got it. I was yeah.
Come on, fastcart. Like I'm trying to support you here.
Well, these guys will tell you don't encourage me, but hey, I'll bring it. I'll keep up with you if I can. But no,
known you for a long time, man.
Yeah, what do you really think of the 400 series, though?
Just from what I saw on the stream, it kind of looks like a mesh between like a 890 jump and a TIE fighter. It's odd.
Yeah. 890J, like, yeah, it's a small 890J, and FC said earlier it was like a mashup with like a Razor, right? FC like has
Razor and a 600.
design.
Yeah, maybe kit mashing is probably the best way of describing it.
Right.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like, I was saying earlier that, the 400 is a ship that, I never thought would have a place in the lineup, honestly, right? If you had to decide between an 890 or if you had to decide between a 100 and 300, that was usually pretty easy, right? Well, what do you want to do? But now that you have a 100 or 300, perhaps 400 in between the 300 and the 600, it makes it a little bit, I wonder if they're just making it easier to step up the line into different origin ships, in which case I would just say save your money and go for a 600, right?
No, obviously you go for the 890, all right?
You're going from the Chevy to the Buick to the Cadillac. Yeah.
I guess so, yeah, no doubt, but I don't know, you have to be determined. I'm trying to see how it fits in the lineup. Of course I will be there. Of course we would have to add it to the fleet, and we'll figure out all the details later. But for your average Joe who might be trying to figure out how to get from, whatever ship to the next and then to 400, there needs to be some convincing, I feel. Origin always has to defend itself against everybody. I don't understand.
I was just waiting for the origin simping to start.
Oh, hey Gigi, what's going on?
I was just waiting for it, and
Did you want to come in and talk about? Do you want to talk about?
Welcome, Gigi. But I just want to say, you should have seen me just 10 was going on about Origin. I was looking at the camera during one of these. I was like, so I don't know if you saw that, but yeah, I got your back.
Could it be any more of a hashtag ad right now?
Gigi, I just thought you wanted to talk about Origin. That's all I thought. I thought you wanted to come in and say how you thought it was just a really great
He
show.
automatically I gotta add it to the fleet. I'm about to get him however much money they ask from me.
I will say, I like the Origin aesthetic. I really do.
See, thank you, Scuba Steve. He's making sense.
I mean, I had the 315P. I think that's my only Origin ship.
You need to get more. That's the problem, FC.
Hey, if you want to give me some, you're more than welcome.
Donate to the bank of fastcart.
I won't complain.
I mean, see, the thing about Origin ships, guys, is you have to
really.
You have to earn it, FC. You know what I mean?
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? You just. I'm just gonna leave you guys. Look, if you guys want to talk about Origin later, we can. I want to get Scuba's thoughts on the Habs. Okay,
A little harder. They can't hear you.
Gigi's all about that Drake.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that's right. No, but about the Habs, I'm looking forward to them. I made my bad joke about it already, so I'm not gonna say it again. But I'm looking forward to them. And I see people who buy the Pioneer have something to look forward to. You might be able to make something like that.
Very true. Yeah.
What do you guys think, Scuba Steve? You like the Habs?
Yeah, anything that's better than the cookie cutter, little things that have been dropped, I think is an improvement. So I'm all about that.
What I found interesting was the being able to shield from the elements, the homesteads, like having the drapes that come down and protect against that. I think that's a really cool effect. But I would definitely agree for those who have a Pioneer, this is going to be awesome.
Right.
And because it's in white box right now, and it's going to be, it's going to fill out, and they're going to figure out how to make the components to it to, fit how the Pioneer will start actually placing and crafting and making all these kinds of things. It's going to be pretty cool.
Jay
says,
don't
why are
want
the
to
storm
ask.
shutters on the inside?
I was going to say fidelity.
Fidelity.
Immersion.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the little extras.
See, this is what you get when you buy the Origin Hab. When you buy a Drake Hab or something similar, they're on the outside where it's reasonable.
What do you? Oh, Origin Habitat. Are we really going here, FC? I think this is a great idea. No. Let me finish this for you.
Gigi, why did you stop me?
Let me just say.
Why would you start you? Don't ask me why I didn't stop you. Why did you start? Is the question. We all knew where that was gonna go.
Let me just clarify. Let me just clarify. Was the question why should Origin build homesteads? Was that the question? I can answer.
No, I think we should go on to. I think we should go on to. I think we should go on to Star Citizen Live. Let's go on to Star Citizen Live.
I got a better idea. Drake build Hab made out of duct tape.
Star Citizen Live, all about Alpha 3.12. I'm your host.
You win, sir. You win.
You've never seen Star Citizen Live before. It's where we take about an hour out of the end of our week, and
we. In Soviet Russia, have you?
We take your questions and we send them to the developers. Are you excited about the new Lando show? Do you think Donald Glover's going to be in the new Lando show? How many episodes do you think?
Oh, you got the baby Yoda. Oh my God.
We hit him with
the child.
All the
Is there
questions.
disco going to be? Is there going to be disco in the Lando show?
They
So to get
just
started,
need to turn it off and
let's
on
just go
again.
right to our panel.
Yeah,
guests.
they
Every show
had
is somebody's
issues with
first
Twitch
show,
today.
we're
So
gonna
if
take
you
a
see
minute to tell
something
people who you are.
wonky,
Rich,
it's not us.
introduce yourself.
It's the
Who
Twitch
are you?
screen.
What do you do for Star Citizen?
So hello, I am Richard Tyra. I am the core gameplay director for Star Citizen, and essentially I cover anything that is character related. So FPS weapons, armor. You basically
They
you're
should
not in
do
a
a holiday
cockpit,
live stream
or
for old times.
sometimes you're in a cockpit.
The sequel?
I cover all of that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Something that goes into the live product.
They could talk about the origin of Star
That's
Citizen.
Me working with Chris and Tony and Rich and other directors and teams to make sure that what we put out is as good of a quality as possible. For that patch.
And so today we are doing the show that
What
we usually
is
do
that
about
headset
at the
he
end of every
has?
quarter. We talk about questions related to the upcoming patch.
He also gets
this, of course,
HBO on
is,
that sucker.
Patch 3.12. It's the patch that wraps up the end of this year. We are taking questions from two places. One, we put a thread up on Spectrum earlier this week where people were able to submit their questions and then vote on which ones they want to see answered most. And then we,
that
of
is
course,
pretty
take
big,
questions
man. Like,
live
birds could probably
from the
fly up
chat.
to
So
land on that fucking
live
bird.
audience right now, you can submit your
Nesting in
question
there?
with the word question in capital letters surrounded by brackets. That's going to help our community management
Uber,
team
I
pull
just
those
have to say
questions
that
and
joke is
send
so
them on over to you.
foul.
So let's get started
Well
right
done,
now
sir.
with the questions
Well done.
that were sent throughout the week on
Ben
Spectrum.
Lesnick is very proud of you.
Which organizations will have reputation in 3.12? Like maybe we want to start by just explaining how reputation will work in 3.12.
Yeah, so basically we have reputation on all of the mission givers except for one. Right now we've got some issues with Rudo that we're working out, but basically with reputation, the idea is that you go there. Obviously, if you do missions, then you become in better favor. If you do poorly on those missions or back out of them, fail them, so on and so forth, you lose favor with the mission giver. For the most part, you can never really fail out of good favor with them. They would constantly give you missions. Now you can actually fail out. It will kind of return to zero or return to a point where you can actually get in favor with them to actually do missions again. And then from there, we do have it on some of the select organizations, and in this case it's really mostly geared towards bounty hunting stuff. So like the Bounty Hunters Guilds, the Blackjack Bounty Department, and then the North Rock Bounty Department. So basically you can gain rep by completing bounty missions offered by them, and then with higher reputation, higher difficulty, higher mission rewards, that kind of stuff will be unlocked.
And of course,
and then,
sorry, go ahead.
And then afterwards, the idea is that more perks and stuff like that will be unlocked for you.
That's literally what I was just going to say. And of course, this is the first iteration of reputation, and it will be built on in subsequent patches. So.
Yeah, exactly.
We saw a lot of questions come in about the tractor beam. The tractor beam seems to have really captured the imagination of folks, Rich. So we're gonna try to spread them out throughout the show here. The first one we got is, can we steal cargo from other ships and then sell that cargo in the usual place with the new tractor beam attachment?
So the answer is yes and no. So if you blow up the ship first, it will then obviously spawn all the different boxes in space, and then you can steal them. So if you take someone out and all their cargo then gets ejected into space, you can then go outside in EVA with your tractor beam, collect all of those boxes, put them back into your ship, and then sell those boxes, on the black market. If you try and interact with them directly from the cargo grid, so say for example you just went and bought a load of commodities that appeared.
Watching the testing for the tractor beam through Evocati has been one of the great joys of 2020. Watching the way that they, the exploits that we knew people were going to find very quickly, and then even some of the new cleverness that maybe was a bit unexpected. One of the big additions in 3.12 is gas clouds, and one of the questions we got from the chat is, can we hide in gas clouds?
The plan is
Gas clouds look
yes,
great.
that you can. We can't do it right now. So basically, what we're doing is currently the vehicle tech team is working on kind of a rebalance of basically EM and IR, and also the addition of ambient signatures. So when that comes online, which I think is soon, then we will go through and basically rebalance the EM and the IR signatures across the ships, but then we'll also implement it into stations and gas clouds in the sun and planets, so on and so forth. So then the system will actually work properly. And depending on where you're at in the gas clouds, either you will be shielded, by just being naturally there, based off of the background of the gas cloud, or you will have to go, run low emissions or stealth, in order to be hidden.
And to just touch on that, so we're also going to be working on, because that's something that's been under my purview, is that we're also going to be working on adding cross-section as a signature. So on the ships, it will be EM, IR, and CS. So cross-section essentially is, it's kind of like your visual representation of a signature. So when you're inside a glass cloud, that gas cloud will obscure some of your visuals. And we actually got it working already in terms of we generate this almost like this physics proxy around the ship, and it does take into account the orientation of the ship. So if you're looking at it like nose on, it's got a sleeker profile than if you're looking at it from a broadside. So when you're thinking about like partial obscurity or hiding behind an asteroid or anything like that, it will lower your cross-section signature. And from a point of view of EM and IR, currently in the game right now, EM and IR is kind of like a binary decision. So it's like if the ambient value of that signature is higher than your signature, you're basically hidden. And that's not necessarily what we want it to be. So what we want it to be is that these things are a bit more nuanced, so that if you have a high ambient signature, such as in a gas cloud, it dampens the signature of which you are emitting. And what that means is that you're never just permanently stealth. There's always an opportunity like, you're
that makes
trying to
sense.
reduce the signatures. And in the new HUD, which we're also implementing, we'll be showing your signature emissions on you. So you'll be able to, and that'll be both on FPS and on ship side of things. So you'll be able to tweak, different systems to basically lower your emissions, and you'll see those emissions be affected in real time when you go into something like a gas cloud. So you'll see them be dampened. And this gives us like really awesome capabilities for like, if let's say your org has got a giant fleet and you have a large capital class ship, you can have smaller fighter class ships within the shadow of the larger capital ship, which then gives us, this really cool gameplay where you're like, hey, or if you're a pirate and you're like, is that one object? And you're going over there, and all of a sudden that one dot on your radar turns into lots of other dots, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, maybe I've pulled the gun too early. So yeah, there's lots coming on radar and scanning, and I know I say that a lot. There's lots coming, but that stuff's actually working right now. I've seen it working, so it will be coming in the future updates.
I was just talking with Kirk Tomei the other day. He was showing me. It's
cool stuff.
Maybe next season on ISC. Just got to get a little further ahead before it's ready to show, folks. Have we found the cause of the refuel restock not loading bug?
We have, and basically one of our guys is currently working on it, and the plan is for the fix to go into 3.12, and if it doesn't, then it's because there is some sort of hiccup with it. But right now the plan is for 3.12.
Okay. Can party members pick up the refined ore that you or another party member has deposited into a refinery?
No, it's you and only you. So I think Dan and I would need to discuss it if we want to change that. But right now, it's basically like your order, your signature, you pick it up.
Okay. Here's a question about weapon zeroing. What is currently the max range to shoot a target at in 3.12?
So it's a complex question to answer, because the way the weapons work, the way the planets work, for example, depends on what certain things are loaded in. So if you've been to like a section of the planet that is already loaded, and then you move away from there, you'll then obviously be able to have all the entities that are loaded in. The max, probably the most reliable value that I'm talking about is probably about 1,500 meters. I'm gonna have to let the cat out. 1 second.
No.
The cat is meowing. The cat is meowing.
The cats are the only reason I'm asking you the questions, so I can put you on full screen.
Yes. So, yeah, 1,500 meters is reliable. It works longer than that. Upwards of 2 kilometers. I've seen some really good shots, but it depends on how, where you've been. If you're looking back to somewhere where it's previously loaded, if it isn't loaded. So it's not like, 100% how it works. We can obviously be improving that in the future, but right now, between 1.1 kilometer and 1.5 kilometers.
Okay.
But you can zero. I think the scope allows you to zero up to a maximum of 2 kilometers. So you can't zero beyond that. 2 kilometers is like the max zeroing. Then you have to kind of judge the shot yourself.
From the chat, can you let the cat back in?
The cat was meowing. The cat needs eating and drinking, I think.
All right. How about a tractor beam question? Can the tractor beam flip ground vehicles?
So the multi-tool tractor beam, which is what we're releasing in 3.12, the short answer is no. The tractor beam has a force, and it's actually all based around force. So I know JJ in one of the ICs called out that it has a weight limit of 250 kilos. Technically, that's true, but it's actually a force limit. So 250 kilos is different in Earth gravity than it is in space, than it is on the moon. So the tractor beam has a force limit of 2,500 newtons. Essentially, you can't. A rock is way heavier than that, so you can't lift it. Can tractor beam technology in a larger capacity than the multi-tool tractor beam, lift turn a rock over? Absolutely, yes. But for the multi-tool tractor beam that we're releasing in 3.12, it's a no.
Yeah. I think it's important to remember that the multi-tool tractor beam is like our first little baby
tractor beam
step.
Do you lift, bro?
There are ships that are supposed to have tractor beams. There are.
Well, I mean, fundamentally, the way we delivered tractor beam, and this was always right from the get-go, was that tractor beam is a technology that we have developed. The main use case right now is from the multi-tool. But if I gave that multi-tool, that's one number. I could go and change that number to be 300,000 newtons. Or I could change it to be 300 million newtons, and I could lift anything. So as long as that entity in the world is a rigid body, so a rigid body, for somebody who's not familiar with what it is, it's basically a physicalized entity. So a lot of the brushes in the world, which are like decorative items where you can't really interact with them, they're not physicalized. So for example, if a grenade went off nearby them, they wouldn't react to the grenade. But when you see something react to a grenade, say a rag doll of a dead body, or other things that you see, whether it's a Whammers bar or whatever, those are the things that you can interact with. So we will be going through. I think it's a Star Citizen, the live environment's a large place to play. We have been working closely with the environment team that they will be going throughout the universe and updating all of these things that are non-physicalized to become physicalized, so that you'll be able to have more interactivity with the world, both from a hands carrying point of view and from a using the multi-tool point of view. But yeah, the multi-tool is just the first foray. We'll be adding other dedicated tools that are extensions of the multi-tool functionality, because the multi-tool is supposed to just be like what it is. It says what it says in the name. It's basically a little penknife that has a knife or a toothpick or a screwdriver or whatever. We will be offering dedicated tools.
Try not to be jealous of that Baby Yoda. You gonna say Tenth?
No, I was just gonna say
absolutely planned down
the
road
multi-tool
is
is exactly what it is. A multi-tool
field. So if you want to be, a dedicated cargo hauler or a dedicated salvager, tractor beam's going to be up there, and you maybe want a more beefier version that allows you to lift larger things. But yeah, so right now the short answer is no, but the future is bright.
All right. Will refineries be able to store the product of multiple jobs, or will we need to withdraw the refined material after each run before starting another?
They will. Think of it like a dry cleaner. Like you can do multiple shirts or multiple pants there, multiple jobs, and then from there, you know, you can just pull one out or you can pull all of them out. It will really depend on the size of your ship that you're moving those jobs to.
Okay.
Dry cleaners will be in game, confirmed.
Is there any fix in 3.12 about the party nameplates not working?
Seems legit.
No. Basically, unfortunately the guys have had bigger things to work on for 3.12 bugs as well as doing star map rework. So that's been their focus, and unfortunately, this is the.
The one thing that I can add though is that coming future. I should get a catchphrase. We actually have just converted those party nameplates into using building blocks, and we're going to be integrating them into the radar and scanning functionality, so that you haven't got this weird, party name, name and then the name underneath the ship, and then this, and it's all this UI kind of combining together to kind of create this hodgepodge of multiple systems that are doing different things. So we've unified all of that. So that it will be coming in a future patch and that will more than likely fix that bug. But yes.
Well, I mean, either we'll get to it before then, or this will. Yeah.
Yes,
I mean, it really just depends on the bugs that the team has on their plates. Just because this is a very specific one, it needs to go through 2 or 3 people. That it's very, very specialized, and it's been a pain to track down.
All right. So what we got. Why did we rename Chaff and Flare?
Rich, do you want to take this one, or do you want me?
I'll go for it. No, I'll go for it. So, essentially, chaff and flare, the real world equivalence of chaff and flare is not necessarily how they're being used in Star Citizen, because Star Citizen has, all these different signatures. So, this is something that's been, that's been driven by Yogi as a fan favorite, and he was very passionate about kind of changing them to be more representative of what they do in Star Citizen. So the flare has been renamed to decoy. So basically the decoy is basically creating a strong signal source for all like seeker heads. So for CS, IR, EM. And then the chaff is being renamed to the noise field. So the noise field is kind of creating this sensor dampening. And that's kind of what I was talking about before, because that's actually was an extension of radar and scanning, which was with the core functionality of radar, and actually Yogi tied into that from what we were doing from the vehicle side. So that's kind of going in line with a signature being dispersed into the ambient that is dampening other signatures around it. So that's why it's being called this, a noise field. So it's kind of allowing people to hide inside almost a mini gas cloud. So that's it's about reducing confusion towards what people have an expectation of happens in real life versus, the Star Citizen universe and how we're using it. Because, I mean, we use a lot of terms from a design point of view, and this goes across multiple different games where you pull a term and you're like, okay, we're going to use this term to represent this thing that is based off reality. But a lot of the times, how you implement it or how you're using it in that particular use case in a game can slightly change the direct determination of what that actual term is being used for. And I think in this case, it was about kind of clearing up the confusion. Now, obviously, in the short term, people are going to be going, well, hold on, I've already learned a lot of this, but we've got to remember that we're still in pre-alpha, so this is about getting the right terminology and the right systems and the right underpinning in there, so that when new players or old players alike are trying to explain it to new players, that it has a consistency.
That's a long ass answer, but just saying, we just feel like it.
The world is doing versus what's happening.
We wanted to do this.
Let's see. What do we have from the chat here?
Should have said because of reasons.
With the Idris being added as
'Cause of
station
reasons.
security,
Thank you.
can we expect the size 10 railgun to be functional?
Yes. It's that it'll depend on basically the ship that's going against. So it's we've worked on the AI to make sure that basically it will prioritize certain targets with the railgun, and so it won't be shooting at a Gladius or anything like that with the railgun.
Although, what would it look like if it did?
Awesome.
It would go boom. It would probably miss, but yeah.
Right.
We did have a really cool demo of the railgun.
The effects.
Yeah, the effects and it
Shoots an aurora, bounces off.
And for players that may not know, that one referred to the Idris security response, which is one scenario where the Idris is going to be in 3.0. But there will also be another scenario, which is the finale to the Arlington family mission, where there's an Idris encounter for both good guys and bad guys in 3.12. So you don't have to be a criminal to fight the Idris if you don't want. Let's see.
Good guys and bad
Some more
guys. Which
tractor
one are you,
questions.
fastcart?
Can
I'm
we
a good
combine
guy.
2 tractor beams to lift heavier objects than the force limit that you spoke of before?
Not in this tier. So in 3.12, it's a no, but it is a planned feature and has always been a planned feature from the start. So that'll be something that we add in to the next tier.
Hey, Kimmy.
As you're probably aware, if you've played
Ooh,
Half-Life
Kimmy.
or
Sigma.
Gary's mod,
What up, fool?
Tractor beam allows you to do a lot of fun things in a game.
What up?
It unlocks a lot of possibilities for cargo hauling. It unlocks a lot of possibilities for designers to create missions where you're able to manipulate physical objects in places that you can't necessarily get to yourself. So it allows us, it gives us a lot of scope. It's a really good ingredient to add lots of different experiences, but it also provides a lot of, I would say, fun, a lot of chance for chicanery. Yeah, exactly. So I think what we need to do is this version is getting out. The main use case for this, for 3.12, for the tractor beam, is for trying to improve that flow of, when you've taken someone out or you've been a pirate and you're trying to steal someone's cargo, that at the moment you're having to EVA out, collect every box up individually, and then bring it back in. And to be honest, that's actually why those boxes spawn as 50 by 50 by 50 carryable boxes. Because if you look at a ship and you have one SCU size cargo boxes in the back, which are the standard, like the stock size for cargo commodities, then when you destroy that ship, it spawns all of these smaller boxes. And the reason that is because those smaller boxes are actually carryable. Now, really what should happen is that your ship should break away, and the things that you were visually seeing in the back of your cargo should now visually be, if they survive the explosion, should now visually be in space. But they're clearly too big for you to go over and handle them.
Action.
Let's see.
There's the Twitch.
One of the
On
quick
the
problems
Mercury
I
Star
mentioned
Runner,
at the beginning. They were
why
having
did
quick
we
problem today.
increase the
There you
fuel
go.
tank size instead of lowering the rate of fuel consumption?
So it was to do with size comparison. So essentially, when all the ships are made, they have to have a way to be able to balance between each of the categories. We've got a lot of ships, so the ship team take a lot of these parameters and come up with kind of metrics for where things should sit. So when the fuel tank was designed around the Mercury Star Runner, it was given a certain value, but then throughout implementation and then as it developed, it became a bit stronger, and essentially it was getting stronger and stronger and stronger, and then it got to a point where it kind of outgrew its fuel tank from basically a power to size comparison. So this was all about bringing it back in line from a balance perspective that was representative across the board. So if it would have just been a number change, it would have not necessarily, it would have left this weird, outlier. So it was about kind of bringing it back into that realm. So it fits well within its power comparison.
Well, and it's also making sure that when we're tuning things, like those thrusters will take a certain amount of power, and if we turn that down,
yeah.
And bye.
It was
just
super
to think about
laggy.
those missions need to be done. So
unplug the
first
router,
we need to
plug
do
it back
those,
in.
and then depending on
Yeah.
the reputation system, if we want to have it be part of an organization or a corporation, cool, then obviously you could gain rep through there. Or if it's maybe like Good Samaritan rep or so on and so forth, like, go out and clear out this village that, has been infested with pirates or something like that, then maybe you gain, reputation around the universe or around that planet as somebody that did something good. For us, I view it as first and foremost, we just need to get those missions working the way that we want them to work, and then from there it'll be, any sort of additions or spices that we want to add on to those missions will just influence the reputation towards towards somebody or towards something else, kind of thing. So like if it's a go ahead.
No, keep going.
So if if you have a chance of going good or bad in that mission, then it will adjust accordingly.
So I was going to say as well, in terms of how reputation will affect missions, there is a big thing as well, that reputation is really exciting for me personally as well, because if you think of the economy and the progression of the game, in terms of ships and how you earn credits and you do these missions and that gameplay loop of do mission or do cargo trade or get X credits and then use that to upgrade your ship, and then eventually that allows you to do more stronger missions, and then exactly and you keep doing it up until you've got the ship that you really want. If you're talking on levels of a 6, 7, 8 figure values, right? When you're looking at FPS items where you're looking at a smaller kind of scale of monetary cost, if it's like somebody going and buying a super yacht in real life and then going, but which watch shall I buy? It's like the order of magnitude is not right. So reputation is something that will be critical in terms of allowing the progression of things like that is not just locked to monetary progression, because monetary progression is something that is so tied into ships and how ships can be bought, and that's kind of sets that level of scale. So when you're looking at the FPS side of things, or the item side of things, or character level side of things, that scale is not applicable. So we need to come up with ways where it's like, hey, this super awesome weapon, or this super awesome piece of armor, or this super awesome item, or XYZ, we can then go, hey, you need to have this amount of reputation to do this mission to unlock this particular item. So it allows us to offer this deep and rich progression on the character side.
Just doing all of them like fastcart does. Might need a couple of extra Origin chips though. 10's got them covered.
Yeah, don't worry, guys.
10 goes up to the Origin dealership. Like, Mr. 10, how you doing today?
It's like,
I think the long
is it gonna
one.
be a go? I gotta talk to Chris today. Have a meeting. Is it a go or no go for ETU?
So what you been thinking of the show so far, Tent?
No, I had to agree with Kimmy, man. You hit it on the nail on the head. Like it's cool seeing these guys talk about it, because you get
traversal.
You get both sides. You get a high level view.
So you
You get a
have things like
detailed view.
vault and mantle and jump and sprint. And if you look at an Assassin's Creed game, you've got wall climbing and all the other, rope traversal and ledge climbing, and that creates like all of these different ingredients for players or for designers to then craft spaces that allow you to go, okay, let's have a jump, and then followed by this mechanic, then followed by this mechanic. So you can create this interesting layered systems across all of these different mechanics to create traversal puzzles. And that's basically what they fundamentally are. But we don't necessarily have that in an EVA space. Now, tractor beam, obviously the grapple hook is, at the moment, it's, you're Spider-Man in space. Now, obviously, fundamentally, that doesn't mean that, you're just going to have this and you can just tractor beam forever. But vice versa, you've also got unlimited EVA fuel with EVA. So at the moment, you can just...
Spider-Man in space, confirmed.
And this is when the secret Squadron 42 footage was.
All of a sudden, you've got a limited use tool that has multiple uses in gameplay.
I gotta go Batman on
but,
that one.
Could potentially get you out of a bind, or if you need a long range grapple hook and EVA, and then you've got zero G push pull. Now, zero-G push-pull, the fundamental of zero, it's free. So it's just under your own effort. You're not consuming a resource. So the zero-G push-pull is kind of like what I'd call like wall climbing. That's the one where you want to be going, I get to a location, let's say it's a derelict. I can now zero-G push-pull, I'm pulling myself around, I'm pulling myself inside, I'm using these grapple holds to get to my location. And you're like, cool, but I'm not expending any resource. And all of a sudden there we have these three mechanics. We have zero-G push-pull, we have tractor beam, and we have EVA. And you've got to then balance it and go, okay, maybe I should use this, maybe I should use this, depending on what armor I'm wearing, how much EVA fuel capacity do I have, how much battery do I have, do I have the correct suit that can recharge that battery, and all of that stuff is coming. I mean, I gave a talk on at SystemCon on, you know, how we're going to be converting armor to ships. That's still the case. That's still the plan. You know, we're working on all of this kind of. So, absolutely not. Categorically no is the answer to is it going to kill zero-G push-pull, because
anytime you're writing code, you pull one thread.
It's like
and
us
a bunch
releasing
of other
Jump
stuff
and saying
just
it's
comes
not
up.
going to kill
It's
Sprint.
universal. It doesn't matter what you're coding.
It's just, that's not
yeah,
the
it doesn't
case.
matter
The
what
intention
you're
is that we're
coding.
trying to mix
Like,
all of these things up.
you add a
to create
feature, you
meaningful
make a
gameplay
change,
experiences.
and all of a sudden, oh man, you're debugging
I want to take
for
a
4
minute
hours.
right here. Talk to the
Here's a
Twitch chat for
picture.
those who are watching. Yes,
Tippy-toeing
we're aware
over Lake
Twitch is having
Michigan in
some
the
broadcast
wintertime.
issues today,
And
but
hoping that
clearly
it's all
we are
solid
not.
ice.
We're still in communication with Todd in
night.
Germany, with Richard in the
At
UK.
night.
Our internet is fine. We are still broadcasting to Twitch with no problems, no drop frames or anything. There's nothing we can do to resolve Twitch's issues. So chances are, I don't know if you can see this or not, but in case you are, just hang tight, and the show will be up on YouTube later this afternoon. So we're going to continue the show here. What
I see you,
moved us
Disco.
to-
Don't worry.
What moved us to add an AR door finder on the HUD? Isn't finding a door for the first time on unfamiliar ships part of the exploration of the game?
This is the thing
Says
with
this
this
question.
It could be viewed that way,
creative
but really this was for the new
But
players.
he's seen
Obviously,
a
the veterans
lot
can turn it off,
across all
but
the
for people
disciplines
that aren't super
in the
hardcore,
studio.
like this
He
is just
knows a lot of what's going
you know,
on.
obviously with cars you're kind of trained, you know, hey, this is where a door is at, and this is where the handle is. And for the most part, they're always in the same spots on cars. Versus on our ships, they're in all different unique locations.
If I had to, if I
Yeah, he's a
suffered
pretty
having to find the
approachable guy.
Cutlass
I remember
door
seeing him
latch, everybody should have to suffer to
on
find the
LA.
Cutlass door latch, Todd. If I suffer, everybody else suffers.
And a lot of people have, and you know, just even you know, like Aaron or Brian playing the game for the first time, trying to get into Carrick. I think they wasted 30 minutes trying to get into a Carrick.
Yep.
So, you know, this is our way for allowing new players that are
Yeah,
not.
it's not like fastcart.
maybe
You
as
always have this
hardcore
massive
as our
entourage you have to
fans,
gut through to get to them.
It allows them to be able to access the game as well.
And to be honest, it's something that we really should be pushing for and celebrating for, because, you know, if you look at
Well, I don't
space
have an
games in
entourage, I
general
just have a
across
posse.
across the you know, the games industry, you know, the learning curve to get into those games is steep. I remember when I started
good news
Eve,
is,
you know, a
Cisco
long time
is-
ago,
is
somebody
getting
sent
much
me like
better.
a
He had a little
180
medical
word
emergencies.
document, page word
He's much
document.
better
I'm
now.
trying to figure out how to just like get into this. Was just like the starter guide. And it was like, you know, and it's like, feels like a full-time job, but you know, the more people that we can come into
And he did tweet
the
out
Star
that
Citizen
it was,
community
an adjustment on his
and, you know, have
medication. He's
a
good
better experience as soon as they, you know, for example, the
That's
free
good.
fly
No
events where people come
human
in
malware.
and they're able to have more accessible gameplay experiences. That'll only benefit the whole community, because if there's more people there, you know, if there's more noobs in the sky, there's more people to shoot, right? So it's only a long-term benefit from an accessibility point of view.
No, I hear that. I might disagree that we're the simpler game, though. Is there anything else planned for the use of gas cloud tech than what we've discussed?
Yes. Yeah. So basically, gas mining. It being like a danger zone. Like right now, we're missing like distortion damage and electricity and other factors that would actually, you know, knock out your ship.
Can't say danger zone, that'll
kill you
be
as
your
a player
copyright strike.
floating around in there. We can do this right now, but we're not doing it for 3.12. Is basically create smaller clouds that we can.
You almost got me. I almost took a twig just then.
And use them
Yep.
as really kind of
Everyone's
like
banned now.
clouds
Sorry about
versus,
that.
like, the stuff that we've created it's massive. It truly is massive. And then obviously the other thing is that this is where jump points will be in the future as well. So not necessarily in the Lagrange points, but in gas clouds.
And the one big thing to note about
Here's
gas
for that
clouds
Pappy
in
AWACS headset.
space is that they provide an atmosphere. So from a
Sees a big
temperature
old
point
dish
of view,
road.
if you look at all of our spacesuits, generally a lot of them are rated. Say they've got a plus or minus say 100 degrees or something like that. When you're out in space, because it's in a vacuum, it's basically insulating you. The active status doesn't really kick in. But as soon as you then EVA into a gas cloud to either find out what's in it or take advantage of that, then all of a sudden you are in an atmosphere. And guess what? That atmosphere is really, really cold because it's in the middle of space, and all that energy is dissipating. So that's definitely something to be aware of. That they're going to be like Todd called out in terms of when we've got distortion and electrical storms and inside of these clouds. But just from a point of view of what's in there right now in terms of gas clouds, they will tie into that active status on the temperature side of things. So be wary about just going in because they'll be cold.
All right. Some tractor beam questions. I think we already touched on this, but we'll try it. Do tractor beam force
gas clouds?
Will tractor beam forces ever combine? Will there ever be like a situation where people would use like 12 different tractor beams?
Yes. So the intention when we came up with the tractor beam was, it's supposed to be this electromagnetic force that is kind of gravity, aiding gravity to lift this item. We do want the ability for people to, combine together. I don't envisage a scene where we've got like 250 people, shooting, pulling down a Bengal from space or something. I think we'll probably have some kind of limit that it's like, okay, after a certain amount it falls off or some diminishing returns.
Tetral quite try it.
The intention long term is that we have, and the way I described it was, the way the weight categories work, currently any of the boxes that you carry in the game, they have a physical weight, but they're not affected by the carryable system. So if you see a box under the hood, it might be 1,000 kilos, but you can just pick it up. It doesn't really matter, and you can just walk around with it. But we're obviously, as we're moving towards a more physicalized world, we're actually setting all these weights to be correct. So some of the 50 by 50 boxes, they have gold in them. Now, if you do a 1.25, 0.125 meter cubed box of gold, which is a 1 SCU gold, that's really heavy, like thousands of kilos. So you're never going to be able to just go, oh, I'm just going to lift it up with my hands. So what we're going to have is we'll have this kind of we'll have the weight limits, and we'll also have size limits. So we already have the size limits in terms of the 50 by 50 by 50 centimeter little boxes that you can pick up with your hands. And eventually that will tie into a weight limit of probably about 75 kilos that you can actually carry. And obviously the weight will then slow you down, so you'll be struggling at that weight. Then all of a sudden you'll be like, okay, I can maybe manipulate 1 SCU boxes. So 1 SCU. And then that'll be like, okay, that's the tractor beam. Maybe that can go up to 250 kilos. And then we'll have something, maybe a dedicated one that maybe is, more numbers and larger sizes, which we've discussed. But let's say you get to the version where it's like, hey, I want to lift this box out, but it's too heavy for me. Oh, just me and my buddy, a couple of portals will come in, we'll shift it off, because it's full of metal. Because at the moment, how the records work is that it's a box of gold. It's a box of agricultural waste. It's not a box and then the waste. So they're not kind of separated. So what we want to do is separate it into the box and then the item in the box. So that means that the box will dictate the volume and size, but what you put in it will then really clearly matter in terms of how you.
What's in the box?
So if I look at a 1 SCU box, which is the standard
It's on an
quality
easy-to-know
box,
basis.
and it's full of, say, a gas, that might be light enough for you to lift it with your single tractor beam. But if that box is full of metal, it's not going to be light enough for you to lift it with a single tractor beam. So maybe now you need a buddy or a friend to come and help you later down the road, and then you can all lift it off and put it onto, a Gravlev trolley push pull or something like that, and then you can push it around. So
High five,
think of them
Scuba
like,
Steve.
almost like forklifts for you able to get these things on.
Got this covered.
More maneuverable items. So Long term, yes. 312, no.
As that stuff becomes physicalized and the size of the box doesn't change, but the contents, the weight of the contents inside it does, how do you communicate that to the player so they don't think it's a bug? So they don't think it's a bug. I looked at a box this size yesterday and it was fine.
So you know when you have a helmet on and you try and drink, what happens right now is it just creates a dead button. Nothing happens. So essentially, what comes up is you get a warning message that says, take your helmet off. You can't drink.
I'm trying not to say anything. I'm trying not to say anything.
One will be adding that blocked message
This is
action,
what I was saying about
which will
Disco.
probably come out with that teaser, which will say, hey, this item's too heavy for you to lift, or this item. And you already have that feedback on the tractor beam. But this will just be for people using their hands. And secondly, we'll eventually add an animation of you going to pick up the item, and we'll call it basically a fail animation, where you'll kind of go like, shake your arm, struggle, and then be like, okay, this box is too heavy. Oh, no worry, no wonder it's full of gold. So.
Todd, time to break some hearts here. Will players be able to board the Idris and take it over in 3.12?
No. Doesn't have the interior. So, right now, no.
Yep, there it goes.
So,
Might as well quit the game now.
We'll make the interior.
Get that out there now, then for all this stuff, it's just like it was at Fleet Week. They're NPC controlled,
Go on the inside field to replace meatballs.
Trying to preserve the experience, of exploration and discovery for Squadron 42. Will every Lagrange point have gas clouds, or will it just be some of them?
Right now, every Lagrange point does have gas clouds. In the future, we might, change that, but right now they do. And then we have different ways of making each cloud, feel unique. So like what we talked about before, as far as like the temperature, the density, the distortion levels on it, again, the EM, the IR signatures of the ambient, what's actually in there as far as minables go, so on and so forth. So like we have a bunch of different ways of making each one feel unique and interesting. And then this is our way of, really kind of stress testing the system and seeing what works for us. And then from there, either in Stanton or in future systems, maybe we adjust it and kind of adjust the way that they work and how dense they are and kind of how do we move them only to L3s or does it make sense to have them in in L4s or do we make them like super wispy or something like that? So but right now, like I think I know I'm really excited. I know that the team that worked on it, have done a fantastic job on getting them in, and I think it will add a lot of unique experiences.
Okay. A follow-up question for the Idris. With the Idris helping the outposts, about what frequency can we expect that to happen? And if they're we'll do that one and then we'll go to the next one.
Well, I was going to say it should be the space stations, not outposts. So
sure.
So basically, that it will depend on the crime level of the people there at the space station, and then if it's destroyed, a new one will come. Based off of the crime level of the people at the space station at that time. So if it clears out a bunch of people and then the crime level drops, then maybe it doesn't return, kind of thing. So, but that's the goal.
Gotcha. So there could conceivably be a situation where there's enough criminals at one station that they can just keep drawing, and if assuming they can destroy the Idris, they could just keep drawing another one until their numbers are so whittled that the Idris is like there's not a big enough threat there.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. And then for the Arlington bounty mission, that is just the single Idris for for the story of the mission.
Yeah. Exactly, and that one, there won't be multiple Idris is coming after that one. It's just that it's this one that shows up, and if you and your friends can destroy it, then fantastic. If not, then and it takes you out, then sorry.
Okay. what's been done to make the Idris more capable than it was previously at Invictus? During Invictus, people were kind of pushing these things around and dragging them down to planet side. How has the Idris experience changed since then?
I mean, we've done a lot of cap ship gameplay, so there's been a lot of tuning, on the ship side. So shields, the railgun, the armor, etc. Then from there, there's been a lot of tuning on the AI behaviors. So updating the way it moves, how it prioritizes ships, how it prioritizes targets and threats coming at it, and then also the overall distance that it goes to, how it tries to keep its distance from the targets. So if it's going up against a ship that's stronger at it, then how does it maneuver around, since its main threat is the railgun, then it doesn't want to broadside you, like some of our other capital ships. So that work has been going on in the background. And then from there, there's obviously the missile changes and the combat changes that have happened on that side, and how it prioritizes those. And so if people are shooting missiles at it, then it'll be taking those out, or torpedoes, and it'll be basically going through. And if a torpedo comes into its range, then it targets the torpedo first, and then from there goes back to its previous targets, kind of thing. So there's been a lot of work that's been done there.
And in the play test I was in, I guess it was last week, I'd talked about it, we'd been told about it, but I was still to fire the torpedo from a retaliator and watch it go, and to watch the Idris's turrets go, boom, and just take it out and then go back. I was just like, oh crap.
Yeah.
I was not ready for it. Even though I knew it was coming, I was not ready for it. It was so cool. All right. We're almost at the end here. Let's get the last of these tractor beam questions and cheese. If someone throws a Pico at you, and can you catch it with the tractor beam?
Yes, you can. You can actually catch a grenade and send it back. I have done.
Good question.
Which was very satisfying. So like I said, if it's a rigid body,
GG, are you listening?
And use the tractor beam on it. So, yep.
Do you guys know what you've done?
The grenade was fantastic. The other person just didn't know what to do, and it was like, what? And it just detonated. I've actually used it to actually pick up guns and float it to other people, and they've been able to pick them out of the air as well, because you can interact with it.
Hey, thank you for the subscription, Papa
that's
Dog.
cool, actually. We didn't get a chance to cover that, but so you still have all the interaction prompts.
Do you mind?
Disabled.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that leads me to my next question. Then what happens when you shoot a tractor beam at players?
So, for 312, we disabled it. So obviously you saw there's a few bugs that we disabled, or not bugs. There was a few actions we disabled for 312. Green Goblin was one.
Yes.
The ever, which was a lot of fun.
Tell them what Green Goblin is. Tell them what Green Goblin is.
So you can jump on a box and then tractor beam the box and fly off into the distance. You can also have other people jump on a box and then they fly off. So now basically what we do is we disabled it so that if anybody touches the box, it kind of like it disables the tether, it breaks the tether. You can do dead bodies. So if you need to get somebody eventually when they're hurt, or if they're about dead or alive bounty, you need show their body or whatever, you should be able to lift them up into your ship. But fundamentally, long term, we do want the ability to offer the tractor beam. So if somebody's injured or somebody's hurt, that you can do it, or if you're using it as a weaponized version of the tractor beam. But you will have ways to prevent it. It's never going to just be like everyone is trolling each other and tractor beaming all over the place. It will go through some design balancing to make sure it's right for Star Citizen, and that it fits the mold. But yes, the actor actually is a rigid body, so it worked out of the gate. It was something we disabled. Like I said in my previous answer, there's a lot of ways tractor beam is going to be utilized, and no doubt I'm 1000% certain that the community will find a lot of interesting and amusing ways to use it, and we will find those, and have to make a call on whether they fit the gameplay. But yes, the fundamental is for 312 nothing happens, and if you actually somebody jumps on a box when you're tractor beam it will disable it. So
well,
yes.
if your fix is working, as I know,
I know
at one point you could shoot the box, you could lift the person, and then you disabled it if it was touching the feet, but then people were bunny hopping on top of the box. And,
we added, the bunny hopping was a good one. So we had basically a delay. So we have a delay before the tether breaks, so people were jumping up before the delay was resetting. So then we added, it's like a cumulative value. So if you jump, but then we just kind of went with a more elegant solution. So essentially, as soon as it touches you, it kind of like disables it. But yeah, there's going to be lots of different uses for the tractor beam going
I
forward.
love how people are just trying to get around these things.
We want to create a physics sandbox in Star Citizen. That's what it's always supposed to be, this universe simulation that has a physicalized nature in the game, that everything is built on, the physical world. So in terms of the weight of your armor dictates how fast you can run and how far you can run. What you're carrying with you dictates it, and all of those things should be tying into how heavy your ship is when it moves in atmospheric flight. All of these things, they're all tying down towards the same vision that we're aiming towards, and the tractor beam is no different. It's underpinned by physics. So if you have a tractor beam, a ship's
Kent, I got a box for you. It's from Origin. Hop on it, and I'll tractor beam you around.
Huge boxes and allows you to manipulate those. That ties into.
How can I say no,
The
FC?
Star Citizen universe that we're trying to create. So, yeah. Long and short of it, though, it's actors is a no for 312 right now.
Okay. Kind of an interesting process question here. With so many duplicate and cache glitches in the past few patches, quite a few players are rolling around with ridiculous amounts of money. Has this changed how we test certain systems? And will there be a wipe at some point?
Yeah, there will definitely be a wipe at some point. We actually discuss a wipe, whether it happens at every patch, and I think in some cases what we want to be able to do is we want players to be able to earn different things. Obviously, sometimes now they're finding ways to exploit it or cheat it, but basically that's what this time is for. We want them to break the systems, and even be able to see, okay, if this person's doing this, and we want them to be able to earn, a ship, let's say after a month of gameplay or 2 months of gameplay or something like that, or even longer, let's say 6 months or something. This allows us to do it since we're not wiping all the time, and that sounds wrong, but then, basically, it allows us to test things and allows us to work. So, but yeah, it's something that we talk about constantly, and it allows us to test certain things out. But if we were wiping every single patch, then there's a lot of these long and mid-game systems and goals that we have for players that we weren't able to test. So this allows us to go through and try that out.
It's
definitely. And there's also, from a short-term point of view, when you've got, when you've got loads and loads and loads of money, that short-term gain of, I can buy everything, I can enjoy it. Fundamentally, it kind of devalues the game for that person who has all of that money.
Mm-hmm.
So if it's just something they've exploited to get, or they've just found a loophole or something like that, it's like playing Dark Souls and turning on God mode. It get boring fairly quickly. So, like Todd says, this is the moment in time where we're taking all this data so that we can rebalance it, so that when it
I wouldn't find it boring.
Goes to the unwipe.
I can't play that game at all.
At times, then we've got a solid progression that people can play through and feel really like, wow, that guy's got an Idris, and that's like, wow, it's spent a long time to get that, and you have these really achievable goals, and it makes that progression all the more worthwhile. So it's it's definitely a critical thing for us to discuss and make sure that we get right.
Have we decided if there's going to be a wipe for 3.12 yet or not?
No, not yet.
It's nice when you don't have to wipe.
Well, I mean, it's
I
something
call it
that
the
we usually,
Houdini.
yeah, it's something that we normally talk about once we go kind of like wave 2.
I'm trying to be good here. I'm trying to be good, but they're making it so hard.
It hasn't been brought up yet.
Okay.
I figure in the new year, like we'll do it.
Yeah, I think we only wipe at wave 2, so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get an email. All right, let's wrap up these last 2 tractor beam questions here before we're done. Similar to the question about the push pull, will the tractor beam gun replace simply carrying boxes by hand, or will there still be a reason to do this the old way?
No, I mean, again, it's like saying, I have a knife. Will it replace me opening boxes with my hands? I mean, the tractor beam will be a limited resource. How you spend that resource is up to you. So if you're down in a cave and you're using that resource to mine, then you're going to want to carry stuff. So it depends on what scenario you're in. You might not have a multi-tool. You might have, you might not have had the tractor beam attachment. So the carryable system is something that we've put a lot of effort into investing in. It's not going away. It sits under my teams again. It's something that is critical to the gameplay. We have lots of different variations of loadouts that people have. And when we add more gadgets in the future, it might not be a sure thing that you're going to take a multi-tool in every single attachment. So it depends on what you're doing and how you're using it and how you spend that limited resource when we add, the fact that it is a battery. So 100%, it won't remove it. Certain circumstances, it will vastly improve. So if I want to put a box in something or somebody in and I have to climb a ladder right now, that's an impossibility. If I need to get something out of a cave and I have to vault something up, again, it's an impossibility. So it offers more player choices. I know you asked me the other day, Jared, player choices. Player choices underpin game design. So that is a fundamental essence and core of designing things, so that you have choice and the player can choose how they manipulate or solve particular problems that we present them with.
All right, last question. What happens if you cross the streams?
I wouldn't cross the streams. 30k basically. Nothing. Right now, nothing will happen if you cross the streams.
Total protonic
We do get
reversal.
a 30k from that.
Hear that? 30k if you cross the
All right,
stream.
everybody. That's it. That's all we got time for on this week's Star Citizen Live, all about Alpha 3.12. Thank you, Richard and Todd, for taking time out of your busy schedule. I know everybody's working hard to get this patch out the door.
42K.
Keep an eye for those watching live. If you missed any part of the show,
All right, so they're wrapping up. Scuba Steve, what did you think of the Star Citizen Live?
I enjoyed it, especially Richard's passion. I know some of his answers, they're long, but you can really tell that he enjoys his work.
Anything stand out to you? Any questions or answers?
Just mainly the stance on the Idris battle, how it just keeps on coming.
And how about you, Ted?
Yeah, I did appreciate, even though it was kind of long, I did appreciate the talk on both the tractor beam and the gas cloud tech. Something I haven't experienced yet, or not. Of course, we haven't experienced, but seeing the videos and the images about it, and then having them talk through it, showed just the amount of detail. I think Kimmy, you were mentioning about how Pappy and Richard, kind of work well together with, in their individual roles as well. With Pappy being our director, so. The amount of detail and then the amount of forethought was pretty cool and apparent on the show this week. So yeah, always a good time. I don't catch every one of these, but it's always a good time to watch them.
How about you, Kimmy?
Yeah, I think altogether, when we're talking about 312, it's uncanny to me. I think this is for me a first time. Correct me, guys. that I've seen them really get this thing going quickly, meaning getting it finished and getting it out there to the community. Is there something behind that? The fact that we're getting it so early and they know it's the end of the year. Usually SIG will wait to that last hour and even
they
a
got
few
crickets
days.
coming up.
Yeah, it's uncanny that they're really getting this thing dialed in and getting it out as fast as possible, right? That's kind of against the norm.
I hear what you're saying, but then again, every year they wait till the last minute. Well, I don't want to say they wait till the last minute. It comes out. It comes out in the last minute, like on December 25th or December 31st or December 30th or something like that. And then they have to do the whole weekend thing and put their staff in trouble, and they got to put in the extra hours and everything like that. So I can see why they're doing it early.
Yes, yes. It's strange. I'm scared.
What's going on here?
Well, I mean, it still come out last minute. Just because it's out in Evocati now doesn't mean I haven't. I have the roadmap up for that. Okay.
FC, it's first wave. I'm playing it.
Okay. Yeah. I'm looking for the what's it called, the roadmap to see how close it is.
Okay.
Yeah, I posted it in Twitch. I posted it in Twitch.
Okay. Yeah, we're first wave now.
Yeah, so it says 100% Evocati, but that's been updated to first wave. So yeah.
Oh, trust me, I am playing it right now.
I believe you. I was just saying, but I posted in Twitch chat. But that's the roadmap update from today.
They pushed it late tonight though, about 11:30 or so.
Okay.
I'm like you, man. I like to double check it too.
Check my fact check me, please.
Well, people have been streaming on Twitch, so I will hereby confirm it.
Thank you.
Scuba Squad Command Center has confirmed.
Yeah, real quick.
PTU Wave 1.
Real quick. Before the Machinima, I just want to say they talk about their story map, talk about reputation.
Yes.
You can't take over an Idris. That's going to disappoint a lot of people. And they talk about wipes a lot.
Yes.
Right. I'm going to take over an Idris. It's covered.
Oh, you are?
Yep, I got it all planned.
Yeah, they're trying so bad right now on the streams. They're trying to take one down, and it's not happening.
Well, they gave it like God mode after last Invictus, so what do they think's going to happen?
Exactly.
But don't worry, I can ram a couple of things into it.
All right, so next we're going to watch a Machinima. It's called the Mercury Star Runner. Shoot, I forgot to see who it's by. I heard that, but I didn't.
SparkyX.
SparkyX. Okay, thanks.
That's the guy from Speed Racer, the mechanic.
So let's check that out.
But I stay on top, yeah, I call the shots, get used to it. Nothing's gonna bring me down. Feeling that adrenaline, the rush in my veins, fuel to the flame, I live for it. Nothing's gonna stop me now. 'Cause I got news for ya. I can't lose, no. Fire on the ground, got him running for cover. Better watch out, I'm about to take over.
I kind of want that shit, but it just doesn't fit my fleet.
I don't got time to look over my shoulder. Leave them all behind.
You get all the ships, man. What are you doing? Like, man, I don't know if I need 2 extra.
take over.
That was a good commercial. I mean,
Dope.
as they called it a showcase, and it definitely a showcase. There's no false advertising about that.
Yeah.
What do you think about it, Scuba Steve?
I liked it.
Any other thoughts? Just like it?
Just the commercial or the ship itself?
Both.
I like the ship. Yeah, I like it. It was a good commercial, but I do like the ship itself, especially, being the IT nerd. I like the server room on the ship too, because it does, I've been to some really big data centers, and it literally has that humming sound when you go in there. It sounds exactly like it.
It's cool.
How about you, Kimmy? What do you think of the Machinima?
I like it, but I'm going to channel the community here. That is so last patch. The new hotness is that Talon and Shriek.
God damn. President Kimmy's like, man.
I'm just going to be sentimental with these ships, man. This is how we roll.
He's like, listen here. It was last season. That is what he
said. Right. Kimmy is like old and busted, new hotness. What did you think, Tenth?
It doesn't shimmer in color or nothing.
It's great. Like secretly, I think I have all the Crusader ships, so I don't really tout that a lot. But
whoa,
this is I like Crusader, man.
Crusader? It's not Origin. What are you talking about?
Scuba Steve's talking. Wait a minute, who's speaking?
Look, let me tell you guys something. I've said this before.
Oh my god,
this is like my second love. It's my second love, guys.
You got a mistress? You got a mistress?
My wife is downstairs. My wife is downstairs. I can't talk.
God.
Crusader.
It just got real. Wait a minute, Tenth. You just said Crusader is your
serious business.
This is not.
Serious
wait a minute. I got to take a break.
Serious business. The Starliner.
Oh, I can see that one. Yeah, that one's definitely up your alley. I can see that one.
MSR, Hercules,
it's a working man's ship.
Ion,
C2,
the Inferno. I got the C2.
And Ion.
Inferno and the and I feel like I'm missing one.
Oh my god! You just threw me off for a loop. I don't know what to say.
But see, it's my second deal. My second deal, but I love it. I love it, dude. And here's the thing. One of the things I like about Crusader, it's sleek. The design choice is not luxurious, right? But it is very nice. It's very nice.
That's one of the things. The interior of the Star Runner, some of it reminds me of the Millennium Falcon.
Oh yes.
And I see that. And
yeah, I agree with that.
If it was more something that could fit in my fleet, like more my style, like maybe a cargo, not necessarily cargo, but just specifically cargo, and not information and stuff like that, or cheaper, I might consider getting one, but not for the price range that it's currently.
Gotcha.
So I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, Scuba Steve and Kimmy, for dropping by.
Yeah, guys.
Pleasure, guys.
Don't forget to check out our merchandise. Merchandise. Check the link downstairs. Pick up a shirt, mouse pad, or a cup. Don't forget to follow us on our social media. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, especially if you want to catch our show when we're not live. Check us out on YouTube. You can give us a follow and subscribe there. And Ken, where can people find you at?
Usually I'm in Discords. So you can ping me in the Star Citizen Discord or in other Discords I'm part of, Ep.17, my org, anywhere. That's where I'm at. I don't stream anymore, but I'm on shows like this. So it's a lot of fun. So this is where you can find me most days.
Ep.17 coming back soon?
Yes, we're working on it. There's a lot of change going on and coming into the holiday, but we're going to be back with the news shortly.
Yay. Sweet.
And people can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/fast_cart. I'm currently taking a break. I'm going to be visiting family, so I won't be online as much. But I'll try to stop by and check and say hi to people and stuff like that. So for that, oh, Scuba Steve, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Plug your stuff, please.
Oh, well, thank you. It's you all can catch me on twitch.tv/ScubaSteveTXST or on Twitter @ScubaSteveTXST.
Yes,
yeah, please give him a follow. And Kimmy.
What about President Kimmy?
That's right.
One, Tim. I'm hanging around always.
What
I'm
a
hanging
fool
around
cabinet.
Twitch. But you guys will catch me here at time to time with Friday Night Lives and definitely on Soul Citizens on Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Times. So you'll see me around. Catch me, Kimmy65. DM me if you have any issues with controllers, setups, recommendations. I'm here for you guys. Thank you so much.
Speaking of Soul Citizens, on Sunday we have an industrial ship. I have to look up to see who's going to be on. The caller from Relay is going to be on, so check it out. That should be a great show. Okay, Carl is very knowledgeable about this stuff, and he basically maintains the crowdfunding spreadsheet that I like to post. And that big chart with all the November being all red and stuff like that, he's the one that organizes that. So check that out. That'll be a great show. All right, so thank you. And we're waiting to Space Tomato. So check them out and say hi from Soul Citizen. And remember, peace, love, and soul.
Everybody.